Now, major news coming out of Spain today. Luis Enrique has left his role as head coach following their round of 16 exit to Morocco on Tuesday. It didn't take them long to find a replacement. Within 15 minutes, they'd announced Luis de la Fuente as his successor. More on him in a moment. As for Enrique, he leaves after 2 spells in charge, starting in 2018. He stepped away from the role in 2019 due to the health of his daughter before returning later in the year. Major tournaments, Enrique reached the semi-finals of the Euros, losing to Italy on penalties before their latest shootout defeat by Morocco in Qatar. Well, for more on this big story, you can see I'm joined by our Spanish football expert, Alvaro Montero. Now, Alvaro, great to speak to you. Massive news day then for Spain today with this announcement. The statement said that the Spanish FA and Enrique had parted company. You never really know what to make of that. Was it a sacking? Has he walked away? What's the feeling?
Hi, good afternoon. Well, the feeling is that it has been a decision of Luis Enrique with the Spanish Football Federation, with its president, Luis Rubiales, where there is an amazing and good relationship. And nobody here in Spain is talking about Luis Enrique being sacked. But after the tournament and after the World Cup, it's been a decision of the coach and the Spanish Football Federation president, remembering that Luis Enrique had contract with the Spanish national team until 31st December. So as you said, it's a mutual decision and he's not going to continue as the Spanish national coach.
What's the feeling in Spain then, Alvaro? Is this a sense of sadness that he stepped down, or is it the right thing to do at this point?
I believe the feeling inside the federation is of sadness because they believe in the Luis Enrique way of understanding football. Spain has done an amazing UEFA Nations League 2 years ago, and last year playing against France. But the feeling is that this way and this decision was the one they had to take because it was Luis Rubiales called and also Luis Enrique, and knowing that Spain has not done a good tournament, and after losing against Morocco, it was the best decision for sure.
Let's talk about perhaps the reason why, Alvaro, this has happened. And of course, Spain, with that World Cup exit a few days ago on penalties, there was thoughts that the squad had practiced thousands of penalties beforehand. So it doesn't seem to be a lack of preparation in that regard. Is there anything that could have been done differently in hindsight, do you think?
Well, here in Spain, there's been a lot of people, especially press and some fans, that has criticized the squad list, the 26 players Luis Enrique chose 40 days ago. And there are so many players that, for some people, stayed in Spain when they should have been playing for the Spanish national team in Qatar. And after the relationship between Luis Enrique and the press was not especially good, especially in the last few days. But I will say it's only a sports decision, and there's only one big problem, is that Spain was called to arrive better until semi-finals maybe, and being sacked this way and out of the tournament after the stage group and after losing against Japan, it's only a sport decision for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about the new man in then, another Luis de la Fuente. It's not a name that we're overly familiar with, to be honest. What can you tell us about him?
Well, it's not very well known internationally. It's a continuous decision for the Spanish Football Federation. He was a former player. He's a former football player, coach for some clubs. And in 2013, he arrived almost 1 decade ago to the Spanish Football Federation. After Albert Celades left the under-21 team, he became the new coach. I will say it's a continuous decision. Many people here in Spain talk about Marcelino García Toral or even Bob Martinez after he left the Belgium national team. But it was the Luis Rubiales decision, counting on Luis de la Fuente, which is not very well known internationally, but well considered inside the Spanish Football Federation in Las Rozas in Madrid. So I will say my headline is that after Luis Enrique, Luis de la Fuente is a continuous decision for sure.
I wonder if it's similar, Alvaro, just thinking if it has similarities to when Gareth Southgate came in as the England head coach. Obviously, he'd done a lot of work with the younger teams before that, but internationally might not have been a huge name at that point. Is there any parallels you can draw between the two of them?
Yeah, maybe, but I believe Gareth Southgate was better well known as a football player, especially in the 90s, not Luis de la Fuente. And yeah, it can be considered. And speaking about the Spanish team, I will say that it's a man that knows very very well, obviously, young players, and he likes the criticized kind of playing of Spain in the last decade, which will be tiki taka, this way of playing with a lot of possession that it's been criticized here in Spain in the last weeks, and especially after losing against Morocco, because the Spanish national team has done more than 1,000 passes without making more than two approaches to goal. So let's see if Luis de la Fuente can change the Spanish mentality and maybe not have so much possession, but trying to score more goals and make more danger.
Absolutely. Finally, Alvaro, then for Luis Enrique, what do you think is next? Do you think that he could go back into club management, perhaps, maybe even in the Premier League?
Good question. Maybe because he is very well known. Many people like his way of understanding football, which obviously is true. He had done it incredibly well in Football Club Barcelona. But here in Spain, it is said, Vox Populi, that he has a kind of agreement with Atletico de Madrid, which, of course, I believe is not sure, but it's a very well known coach here in Spain, and Atletico de Madrid could be his option if Simeone leaves the club. But of course, Premier League can be also his option. I will say that Luis Enrique is not going to be without a club if he wants to keep on doing, because he's an amazing coach.